Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of RotoBaller. My co-host Nick Giffen of the Action Network drinking a Budweiser tonight, not a
We got
Tecate.
Budweiser. We got two of them now because I had opened one prior
And
to us hitting
Las
record, and then I
Vegas
had to
race
open one
in the
for the
books.
start of the show. So
You
because I
just
forgot
paused on
last
me,
week,
that's
and you had
why
to make the sound with your mouth or whatever it was. That was ridiculous.
What?
Well,
I didn't hear any of that
and-
first part.
and I have a box of wine.
Nice.
So, well, no, what I said, I probably talked way too fast. You made the psh with your mouth last week because I didn't have my beer ready, so I had to make sure I got my beer ready for the start of the show this week, so we didn't have back-to-back mouth sound opening weeks. So now I have two beers open, and I have a box of wine, so it's gonna be a good show.
It's going to be a good show. Kyle Larson in Victory Lane in Las Vegas, getting that win he probably should have got earlier in the year at the track, locking himself into the championship race. He's now the heavy favorite to win the championship, according to sportsbooks. Also the heavy favorite to win this week at Homestead. But Larson wins. Ryan Blaney got disqualified and then got undisqualified, which was a very surprising move out of NASCAR. And now we have a very tight points race with William Byron only 9 points above the cut line and in the best position heading into Homestead. Two more races to go in the round of 8. 73% of people in Jeff Gluck's poll said that this was a good race. Nick, you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was pretty good. Great ending. Even though it didn't go the way of my bet, of course. I thought it was a pretty good race. You know, it's hard to pass the leader, but at the same time, you know, the leader was the guy who was the fastest, and Christopher Bell absolutely could have passed the leader there at the end if he had one more lap, or maybe driven a little smarter, or certain things that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
it's once again Christopher Bell not being clutch. That's all I thought of that entire last lap.
You're taking my wine about it away.
Damn it. That was going to be mine too, but I got a backup one, so.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was really pissed because I had Christopher Bell plus 1250, and he didn't win me any money. So, yeah, I was pretty mad. So, yeah, rough betting week, but I made really good bets on Bell and Ross Chastain as well. I was glad I took him 20-1. He looked racy there, had a shot at taking the lead. So honestly, I feel like my process was pretty good. It was the only one that I was unhappy with was not Bubba, because obviously Bubba did not finish top 10. I was fine with the midweek bet on him, but after practice and qualifying, I put another unit on when he lengthened to plus 125.
So did
Probably
I.
should have just left it there at even money with the two units I had there. So it is what it is. It's fine. But overall, I was pretty happy with my process this week. Just didn't get the results once again.
Yeah, I think one takeaway from this race that I noticed, you know, you mentioned Ross Chastain, and that's kind of what sparked it with me, is once again, the guys that were good in the first Las Vegas race are good the second time around. It's not like we're seeing many teams make huge gains. And that's been noteworthy all season, and it once again came true. You know, Kyle Larson, William Byron were the best last time. Byron wasn't as good this time, but Larson obviously was. Christopher Bell was a top 5 car last time. He was a contender this time. Ross Chastain, really good last time, good again this time. So yeah, Christopher Bell finished his runner-up after starting from the pole. He actually led 61 laps, which is good for him with the amount of poles that he has and the amount of times that he's only led one or less than 10 laps during a race that he started on the pole. But like you said, you know, Chastain with a good run, Keselowski with a good run, Kyle Busch with a good run, all those guys out of the playoffs. Then we got Byron finishing 6th, Tyler Reddick finishing 7th, Truex, who looked really strong early in the race. I forget what happened mid-race, but he finished 8th, Denny Hamlin 9th, and then Chris Buescher 10th. So that is the finishing order with Blaney all the way in last place. So that's a little adjusted because Blaney finished 6th. So take all those guys starting with Byron and put them down one position. But you get the point. The playoff guys finished up front, which is what we typically see at this point in the season with only 3 races to go. But, you know, obviously we head into Homestead this next weekend, a little bit different than Las Vegas with tire wear and just the overall track layout. This was the final intermediate track race of the season. We've said it after most of the races this year that they put on a great show. Do you firmly believe that right now with this car that these intermediate tracks are producing the best racing still going into, as we're going to go into 2024 here soon.
Yeah, I still think so. And even with this being a air quote lackluster intermediate race of all the ones we've had, it was still good. You could still pass. You could still pass for the lead. And I mean, I guess technically some people say Homestead's an intermediate, but I think we're talking like the cookie cutter 1.5 mile, quad tri-oval style, not the steeply banked, 180-degree turns on each end, true ovals with the high tire wear. So a little definition on intermediate there, right? Because they're both 1.5 miles, but they're both like very different 1.5 miles from each other, Vegas and Homestead. So, but yeah, I think this is overall, this car meshes with this track type really well. And it was a good race. It wasn't a great race. It wasn't the best 1.5 mile race we've had this year. Certainly both those Kansas races were really good. The 600 was good. Even Texas was fine. First Vegas was good. So it's been really good at this track type. And just not every race is always going to be a banger. This time, Kyle Larson kind of stunk up the show, even though he almost didn't win anyway. Like Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson were the two best. Larson was better in the short run. Bell was better in the long run. And that's really what it came down to. I was able to identify that right off the bat. It was like, okay. And we saw it in the first stage, actually. Mm-hmm. Larson passed Bell, then Bell passed Larson back for the lead before the end of stage one. So we knew that's what they had, and all through the race, if we got long runs, Bell was going to be really good. We had a bunch of restarts kind of in the middle of the race there, and so Bell kind of dropped back 4th, 5th, 6th. But once that race stayed green, it was Christopher Bell had the best car.
Which, it could be...
Just not the best driver.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but that could be, how he misses out on the championship race.
Yeah.
But speaking of championship race, Larson officially locked in. You remember at the start of the playoffs, in our preview episode, Larson was plus 700 for the championship this year at that point. Yeah. Glad I'm holding that ticket right now.
That's fair.
Because I'm feeling good.
I wish I was holding that too. But I will say, he's good at Phoenix, but so are all the other guys.
Well, here's the thing. I also have a Byron ticket and a Truex ticket, so I'm feeling good right now.
Well, I have a Byron and a Truex, right? So
yeah,
I'm happy about that. I got 14 and 16 on those guys. I don't have a Hamlin ticket. I don't have a Reddick ticket. I don't have a Buescher ticket. I know some people had Buescher 40-1 or various things, so those are really good tickets. But I'm feeling good. I know Larson's going to be in it, and I'm just waiting to see what other drivers make it, because if I get both Byron and Truex in, I'm probably only going to hedge with one of the two other drivers, probably not both of the other drivers.
That makes sense. As far as you talked about Denny Hamlin, he was up front most of the day, and he faded there late in the race. Finished 10th at the end of it. Still got 40 something points, 41 points or something like that. So still a decent day for him, but they had a bad adjustment there late. That could end up hurting him because he's now only 2 points above the cut line. 3 of those Joe Gibbs Racing guys, within 2 points of the cut line, and then we have Reddick, Blaney, and Buescher further back. Byron, like I said, plus 9. Any other takeaways from Las Vegas that's noteworthy? I feel like it's just at this point in the season, it's just knock them down, keep it going.
Uh-oh, I might have lost you there for a moment. We'll see if Jordan might be talking now, but at least as far as the internet connection is concerned, I am not hearing Jordan at all. So
yeah, you just froze up for me there too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. It did. That's what it did at the beginning of the episode too for me.
Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't have it freeze up like that bad at the beginning, but it did now. But anyway, any other noteworthy takeaways? Here's one that I think is actually very noteworthy. Eric Jones ended up having an issue, but the dude was flying at the start of the race. He made his way up to like 14th or 15th after having started back in 23rd. And once again, he looked really good at these 1.5 miles. So Eric Jones, not great at Homestead, but you know who is? His teammate for this week.
John Hunter
His
Nemechek?
teammate for this week, John Hunter Nemechek. Yeah, pretty interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if JHN puts up a strong finish this weekend. And heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Jones puts up a good finish this weekend as well. I know Darlington and Homestead are different, and so Eric Jones is better at one than the other. But there's at least enough similarities where I feel like Eric Jones has probably had a lot of bad luck at Homestead as well. Plus, we added in that team's current form. I think he could be a surprise candidate for a top 10 finish as well. So both Legacy Motor Club guys, I think, legitimately have a chance at top 10 finishes this weekend.
Yeah, you look at Eric Jones's career record at Homestead, 6 starts, only 1 top 20, and that was a third-place finish back in 2019. Every other
See what
result,
he's capable of, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure what happened in that race. His driver rating was only 99.4, but still, a good finish there. That was when he was with Joe Gibbs Racing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on because, that Legacy Motor Club, they were not good at the beginning of the year, but now with these intermediate packages, I mean, even Hocevar had speed before his issue, too. So, definitely something to keep an eye on with John Hunter Nemechek taking the wheel of that car this weekend. But
and then any other takeaways from this race? I'm just kind of looking through things here. I don't really see much. Truex was so good at the start of the race, and then he kind of fell back, and then he worked his way back into the top 10. So I'm not really chalking it up to, Truex has been so bad lately. I don't think he really has. I think, just kind of got shuffled around and different in traffic versus not. I don't think that team is where they were, certainly, at certain points this year. But I don't think they're as bad as everybody's making them out to be. So I'm still pretty high on Truex overall. I mean, he's still into the good, at least in the points as well, which is nice. And there's always the debate on, well, is this point system good or not or whatever. I've seen things like, Truex has this massive points lead. It's unfair. Remember a couple years ago when Harvick won 9 races and didn't make the Final Four? Truex is nowhere close to what Harvick advantage he had. So stop complaining about the format because it's not the format that is shooing Truex into Phoenix. Maybe it's helped him get to this point, but it's not going to shoo him into Phoenix. I mean, he's 2 points ahead right now, so he's not a shoo-in for the finals. He, even less so than Harvick would have been a shoo-in when he won 9 races. So let's cut the crap there with the format being the reason Truex is getting to Phoenix, because Truex has to race really well these next 2 races to make it to Phoenix.
Yeah, and these are 2 really good tracks coming up for Truex as well. Mm-hmm. So and I'm pretty sure we talked about this last week. If not, it was the week before. If Truex makes it to Phoenix, he's going to be a contender. Like, this team didn't just suddenly turn to shit. Yes, they went through a bad stretch. Everybody goes through a bad stretch. It happens. Like, Truex is still the regular season champion, unlike fucking Ross Chastain that everybody crowned the champion after, I don't even remember what race. Was it like
13
Charlotte
races or something?
Yeah, after the Coca-Cola 600 or whatever. But yeah, Truex still good. I have no issues with that team. Honestly, I think they contend big time here at Homestead this weekend.
I agree. I think they'll contend, and Martinsville's an absolutely great track for him. So, he should be favored to make Phoenix for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of, before we get to talking about Homestead, let's talk about a whine about it and some stuff to complain about. I know you kind of started yours, so let's let you kick that one off right here at the beginning.
Yeah, my whine about it is Christopher Bell, because
yes,
what are you doing? Not even on the last lap, just on the last straightaway. If you watch that replay back several times, and I've tried to be unbiased about it because I had a bet on him to win 12.5 to 1. But if you just watch it back, he just kind of hangs near Larson for what reason, I don't know. But think about it. He was riding the top around 3 and 4. Riding the top. You know what happens when you ride the top? You gain all this momentum. And then, what is the shortest distance between 2 points. A straight fucking line. Why don't you literally just point your car right to where the start-finish line apex, the apex of the corner, like it's not really an apex because we're not like turning a corner, but you get what I mean, like right where the start-finish line meets the grass. Once you come off there, you should just point your car there, because not only do you get the shortest distance between 2 points, but you start going down the banking as well, which will pick you up even more speed. So it just, to me, what Christopher Bell needed to do was just hook a left off of 4 and just go with it. And if Larson tries to block him, I'm sorry, you would have been next to and beside, maybe you would have left rear hooked him and he would have spun in the grass, but that would be Larson's own damn fault at that point because you have nowhere to go. So you literally just left hook it off 4, you win the race. Or at minimum, if you don't win the race, you're neck and neck with the dude, nose to nose, and you at least gave yourself a shot. But what he did there, he gave himself no shot. Now, I will say, one thing that really helped him in his favor was, if you watch that last 2 laps, lap and a half, I mean, certainly over the last several laps, he had the better car. He was gaining on Larson. But Larson had 2 wide traffic in front of him, and Larson actually kind of chose some bad lines as well to get stuck behind that 2 wide traffic where Bell rode the high line. Larson's car was running better. And we know Larson loves the high line. He's a high line guy. So if he's choosing the middle or the low line, it's because his car was absolutely working better there. If he had run the high line, he would have just straight up lost. So Larson did a really good job, but once that traffic got in front of him, all of a sudden he's getting dirty air from 2 wide in front of him. Bell has to capitalize, and Bell did not. So to me, Bell lost that race for himself. He had the chance to win it, and he didn't take it.
Yeah, the more I watched that replay of the final lap specifically, I honestly think that Bell didn't know that was the last lap, and he thought he had one more lap. Because I don't understand how you do not even try to make a move coming to the line. It looked like he was just trying to bump draft Larson heading to the line, and I obviously know that he knew that was the last lap, but it honestly did not look like he was trying to win that race at all, which was just insane to me. But then again, it's Christopher Bell, and I have said it many times before, I don't think the guy has any clutch gene in him whatsoever. So the fact that he didn't even try to go for the win, he reminds me of a Michael McDowell. We talk about Michael McDowell at Daytona and how he's never going to go for the win. That's Christopher Bell. That is Christopher Bell. They're the same.
He's a way more talented Michael McDowell. Let's be real.
Yeah,
a way more talented Michael McDowell on ovals especially. But you're right. He doesn't have that like, I'm gonna get aggressive with you. I'm gonna whatever. If he's more like not even a Martin Truex Jr., but in the mold of a Martin Truex Jr., where he's just gonna do the consistent thing and be consistent, but he doesn't seem to just attack when he absolutely needs to attack. The one exception was, of course, last year when he won the Roval, but he also had fresh tires, and everybody else in front of him didn't, and the tires helped a lot. So he definitely clutched that out by being aggressive enough to make moves, but that's also on a road course. I think at ovals, for some reason, he just isn't quite aggressive enough. And don't get me wrong, he's good at ovals. He's especially at short flats. But I think the classic intermediate, there's just, like you said, that clutch gene, a factor needs to come into play there, and it didn't.
Yeah, and honestly, that could be the difference between him winning the championship this year and not. Because
he's good at Phoenix, he's good at short flats.
Yeah, he's very good at Phoenix. So if he doesn't make it to the Phoenix race in the final championship race, you can point back to this race and say this is why. Because
100%.
Larson even said after the race, he's like, if there was one more lap, Larson himself wouldn't have won that race. But
he probably shouldn't have even with that one lap.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just to me, all the physics scream out. Hook it, and I was as I was watching the race unfold, and now of course I have a Bell ticket. I'm sitting there like, hook it left. Like I'm not screaming it like that, but I'm very articulately saying, cut underneath him. Like it was one of those spots where I could just tell if you just pull it left, Larson's gonna have to try to block you, but you're gonna have position on him. And so either way, you're going to end up side by side, but at least you're going to do it with the momentum of rolling down the corner, rolling down the banking, making the shortest distance between 2 points. And if you lose that way, you lose that way. You can live with it. But you cannot live with losing it the way you lost it there. That's just it's terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm watching it again right now. And, okay, so he comes off the corner. Then he tries to go high, and then he tries to go low. And it's just
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense coming. You're coming off the top lane, off the corner, and then you get to his bumper, and then you decide to try to go high again. Like, what are you doing? This is.
He didn't have a plan. He did not have a plan.
No.
It's a driver without a plan.
Exactly.
Like I said,
and
I could
apparently
live with it
without a spotter. I don't know.
I could live with it if he had a plan. If he had a plan and he committed to it and didn't win, that's fine.
And I know, like, there was a lapper in the way there on the bottom that literally got. No, he went on the apron. Like, he did what David Starr should have done.
I'm saying it was not enough in the way. I'm saying he was not enough in the way. He was, like, out of the way.
Yeah, like if there was anybody that was trying to defend Christopher Bell, that's one thing they could say. But that lapper is so far off the track that
exactly.
There's no.
That didn't matter.
Yeah. So, hey, if Christopher Bell makes it to the championship, good job. If not, that's on you for not. Yeah, exactly.
So that's my whine about it.
Yeah, that was gonna be my whine about it, and I didn't even have a Christopher Bell ticket.
It's so funny we didn't coordinate that, but we had the same one about it.
Yeah, it just pissed me off watching the end of that race. I'm like, it's Christopher Bell. Like, I have my own biases against Christopher Bell, but. My whine about it is going to be, surprise, surprise, NASCAR.com. I've talked shit about this website for 15 years now. Randomly, we're 33 races into the season. There's 3 races left of the year. That's it. 3 weeks from now, less than a month from now, this season's done, and we're going to be looking forward to Daytona 500 of 2024. They decide this far into the season and now to roll out an entirely new points standings page, playoff standings page. Like, this is all new. They've changed everything.
Yeah.
Why? I don't get it. If you're going to update this stuff, they're always trying to make their website edgier and look better. And it's always at the expense of user experience. Because every single time, it seems like, I'm not going to say every single time, but most times they take a step back with this website. And they did it again this time. Like, this is just... Stop trying to fucking be, like, next level shit. Just leave shit as it is, especially this late in the season. Like, I don't understand
it. Make it easy. Make it easy. We want to see the standings. Make it easy to see the standings. And I actually have the same problem with IndyCar website. IndyCar's website is worse for trying to figure out the standings. Worse than NASCAR's. So even though NASCAR changes it every so often and then it's hard to find, it's still easier than IndyCar's. But, like, dude, sanctioning bodies, like IndyCar, NASCAR, both of you, just, like, make the important stuff easy to find. Have a standings button right in the top fucking middle, and you click on it, and it displays standings, and that's it. That's why I go to Wikipedia to look at standings, because it's so much easier. I don't go to NASCAR.com to look at standings. You and I have been doing this podcast for 2 years. Every time we talk about standing, and sometimes you're like, "Oh, are you ready to podcast yet?" And I'm like, "Hold on, I got to pull up Wikipedia." Is because that's where I'm looking at the standings. Because I'm not looking on NASCAR.com because it's impossible, or half the time it's impossible. So you got to make it easier. You don't need to make it look edgier, have cooler features. Make it easy, simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, it's literally that acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. If I can see the standings in a table and understand what it means, that provides a lot more information than whoosh, whoosh, cool graphic here, there.
Yeah.
Oh, scrolly thing, whatever. None of that matters.
Having the
what
driver's
matters if you
picture
can
next
digest
to
the
it.
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is if you can digest the information, and we can't even find the information half the time, let alone digest it, because it's in a non-digestible format.
Yeah. And that's my rule of life with everything. Like, every sales pitch, every product, anything that is consumed needs to be done as simple as possible. That is my number one rule for anything, any job I've ever done, anything. There's a reason why so many people enjoyed Racing Reference website until NASCAR took it over, or whatever happened there when it went to shit. It's because it's easy. You can easily find everything. You know exactly where everything is, or what, like, it was easy. Like, and now it's just a shit show. But still easy. I mean, it's still relatively easy. It's just not really accurate. Same thing with J-Ski. J-Ski isn't some complex website. It is literally just a bunch of fucking links. And you know what it is? Easy. It's easy to find everything. That's all. That's it. So that is my whine about it. NASCAR.com website, once again, just stop trying to. Don't even get me started on like the weekends where we can't even find the practice chart. Like,
oh, God.
Or anything like that. Like, it is. Oh, man. Just make it easy. Make everybody's life easier, including your web guys. Because I'm sure your web developer guys are like, stop fucking doing this shit, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, whine about it.
Say, my last whine about it is I don't have any more Luvabella wine. So I need more Luvabella wine. That's why I'm going with a Boda box of wine. And that's on me. That's a whine about myself, because I need to get my next Luvabella shipment organized, because I love that. I love their wine. It's so good, especially obviously the mimosa, but everything. The Purple Rain. You know, I like the bourbon barrel aged ones. Luvabella wines is the absolute best stuff.
Yeah, I think the mimosa is going to be going out to like a major number of stores here soon. So
nice.
Absolutely, that wine is incredible. But as always, wine about it, presented by Luvabella Winery. Check them out, luvabella.com. You can get your wine shipped to you. You can find them in stores. Make sure you check them out. Super affordable. Like, I know the wine here, I can't speak for everywhere all over the country, but like the bottles here are like $7, $8 for a bottle of wine. And it's really fucking good. So make sure you check them out. Let's talk a little bit right now about the standings quick before we get specifically into Homestead. Let me get to the right page here on NASCAR.com so I can give the right numbers. But how you feel? You think this is a 5-man race outside of Tyler Reddick pulling one off here at Homestead this weekend? You think it's pretty set that the final four is going to be between, obviously Larson's in, but Byron, Truex, Hamlin, and Bell?
I think it's 5-man race outside of either Tyler Reddick or Chris Buescher pulling one off this weekend. So yeah, I think if neither of them do, I think it's a 5-man race, and it's the four that have been the best all year: Larson, Byron, Truex, and Hamlin, plus Christopher Bell, who's also been probably the 5th best all year. So I think the current 5 are the right 5. And will stay that way, barring a Reddick or Buescher upset, air quote upset at home. Excuse me, at Homestead. I couldn't even hit mute in time for that one. But yeah, barring that, I was looking at the Wikipedia page because I wasn't looking at NASCAR.com, and that came up, and I'm trying to click back over to our Riverside thing here to hit the mute button. Couldn't do it in time.
That's awesome. But yeah. So if you remember, 2 weeks ago when we were making our final 4 picks, I did pick Reddick, and that's because I had him penciled in as the winner of Homestead in my head. Now, whether that remains true this week and whether I stick with Reddick as my pick, you have to listen to the end of this episode to find out. But I will note, we are on a 4-race streak of picking the winners on Stacking Dennys. That is clearly a first.
All right. I mean, 3 was a first, right?
Yeah. I'm not even sure we've done 2 in a row. But yeah,
Maybe
4
not.
races in a row. 5 of the last 7, we have picked the winner here. You have the last 2 in a row, so you're on quite a hot streak. Before that, I had 2 in a row. So yeah, Stacking Dennys is looking pretty damn good. Sounding pretty damn good here as of late.
See, here's the thing. Like, I can pick Larson to win, but not like his betting odds, which is why I bet on Chris Bell.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like DraftKings versus betting. Like, you can like a guy because of his place differential, but not really want to bet him. Versus you can like a guy betting but he's starting like 5th, and so you're not really into his like DraftKings stuff, So it's another one of those like natural hedges that comes into play. I naturally hedged Kyle Larson Stacking Dennys pick with Christopher Bill betting pick.
Yep. But yeah, wrapping up, the standings here. Obviously, blown tire, any mechanical issue can take one of these guys out and have us eating our words. But outside of those issues, it's just, once again, this format doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Four of the 5 best guys are probably getting into Phoenix, and everyone always throws Reddick in as the guy with all the potential. So I don't see Blaney getting in here. I don't see Busher. I don't even see him contending this week. Obviously, you have your reasons as to why he could, but I don't.
When was the last time a Final Four was just like, who the fuck made the Final Four? What? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, right.
Even last year, even Chastain making it last year, Chastain was way better last year than he was this year. Like, he deserved to make the Final Four. When was the last time a Final Four was not a, even if you weren't the 4 best, you were 4, 5, 6, at worst best, because it seems like it's every year. You look 2 years ago, Larson, Truex, Hamlin, Elliott. Can anybody argue with that?
No.
You look 3 years ago. Elliott, Keselowski, Logano, Hamlin. Remember, Keselowski was with Penske back then. Can anybody argue with that? No. Like, this system works just fine. It works just fine. The only thing, like I said, I would argue, as we've talked about, is the 4-3-2-1 versus the 3-3-3-1.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. The only glaring, person to make the Final Four would have been Newman the year that he made it, but he did it on pure consistency, which is kind of what Buscher's doing, although he does have the wins to go with it this year. But Newman made it on consistency.
Yeah, and even then, he nearly won the whole damn championship versus Harvick that year.
Didn't he finish
second? He finished second in that race to Harvick's first.
Yeah. Another one of those examples of, if you make the championship race, nobody else is even trying.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. That he would be the but you have to literally go back to 2014 to find somebody who probably was maybe like 8th or 9th or 12th or 13th best, making the championship. It'll happen again. It's going to happen once every 20, 15, 10 times. But that's the whole point. It's just like when the wild card NFL team makes the Super Bowl. It's supposed to happen once every random time, whether it's and I understand football, NASCAR, you're racing against 35 other drivers, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you could be the 16-0, 17-0 Patriots, whatever it is, and lose the Super Bowl. So, it's one of those things where I don't buy the whole argument of, well, we're different and this, that, and the other. I don't buy that argument. You got to show up. You just have to show up. Like, you got to do your stuff. You got to show up. You got to beat everybody. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with this system. If the worst part of this system is randomness that comes into play that isn't really, doesn't really exist to a certain degree with other sports, stick and ball sports, right? Like in football, you're not going to lose because the goalpost fell over or something like that. Whereas in NASCAR, you can lose because your tire blew apart. Because a fan threw a thumbtack on the track and you didn't realize it and you ran over it and your tire popped. Like that kind of stuff. Like, I know I'm being a little extreme here, but that's why I call for the 4-3-2-1, especially if we're going to have Atlanta, Bristol, and Glen as a round of the playoffs. You got to have you got to have a more predictable track in there to showcase the talent, to let talent be a deciding factor. So the only issue I have with a one-race championship is when things outside of talent come into play. But overall, the formats, it works really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not going to get an argument from me on this format. I think time and time again has proved that it's pretty solid. But we are getting to Homestead this weekend. Have not raced here in a year. Last time we were here, Kyle Larson put on a fucking clinic. One stage 1, one stage 2, led 199 of the 267 laps. Very similar to what we just saw out of him at Las Vegas this past weekend. Sportsbooks are reacting as we all expected. It's looking like an Xfinity Series race with these opening odds. Best you can get Kyle Larson at this week, plus 280. You can't argue with it, but at the same time, does he go out and really care about this race to be that much of a favorite? It's a weird way of asking that question, but
I understand what you're asking. He cares. The question is, does Hendrick Motorsports care enough? Because he has William Byron, and if you really want to care about it, Chase Elliott is still in the owners' playoffs, which pays some bills for sure, and would be a feather in the cap to Hendrick Motorsports to get 3 drivers into the Final Four for the owners' championship. Because we still think probably Byron would get in on points, barring some crazy stuff. No guarantee, of course, but you get the point. Like, Larson has every reason to try, except the fact that he has 2 teammates that could win this ahead of him. So if you were fading Larson at Homestead, you've kind of just got to be on Byron. And or Elliott, I guess, to a degree, but mostly Byron. So I think William Byron bets become really good this weekend. I don't see any reason for Larson to just suddenly go in experimental mode. I guess you could for next year, but it's not going to help you for Phoenix. Experimenting at Homestead is going to do nothing to help you at Phoenix.
No.
Totally different package, totally different tire, totally different track type, totally different tire wear. Nothing about Homestead is going to help you for Phoenix. So if you're Larson, maybe you go into test mode for your teammates, or maybe you go into test mode for next year to play nice teammate. But that would be it, because other than that, why not just go win the damn race?
Yeah, and obviously, here's the thing. I think if him and Byron have the same car, like straight up same car, same speed, Larson lays off. Larson lets Byron win, gets him into Phoenix.
Well, I still think. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I would actually say Larson wins just based off driver.
Oh yeah,
but because if they had the exact same car to their exact same liking, this track is the perfect match for Larson. Larson would win by 15 seconds in a standard fuel run, I would think.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I see what you're saying now.
I'm saying, strategy wise, if those two are like you remember the first Vegas race where it was those two on speed and then there's a huge gap to everybody else. If that's like this here, I think it's similar to what we saw last year at Phoenix with Blaney and Logano, and Larson just lets Byron in, lets him win, gets him to Phoenix. Whereas if the two best cars this weekend are Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson is going all out to get that win and keep and try to keep Martin Truex Jr.
100%
out
agree.
of a guaranteed spot out of Phoenix. So
100% agree.
That's kind of where I was trying to get at there as far as what these.
I thought even if they had the exact same car, I was like, well, the driver part of that, and I think William Byron's super talented and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm just talking at this specific track. This is like Larson's playground, which is funny because he still only won one of these. And
just like Darlington.
It's hard to win NASCAR races. You can be the best driver on the damn planet and have the absolute best track type for you and win just one of these, out of 10 starts or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the exact number of starts I don't have in front of me, but you get the idea. Larson's won one time at Homestead. And he's won one time at Darlington. If that says everything it needs to say, he that's the whole point. It's like, it doesn't matter how talented you are, it's still fucking hard to win NASCAR races. That's why I'm not betting Kyle Larson plus 350 to win Vegas. And he probably shouldn't have won Vegas. So, I see people celebrating winning him 4.5 to 1. Good. You deserve to win him 4.5 to 1 because he won. I just can't bring myself to make that bet because I don't think he wins it more than 20% of the time if we replay it a gazillion times over. So that's I'm not complaining. I'm not saying you made a bad bet. I'm not hating on people or whatever. It's just I build a statistical model and it's not like I never stray from it because I do, but I will definitely make sure I apply my NASCAR knowledge when I stray from it. And my NASCAR knowledge was not enough to be like, okay, Kyle Larson's 25% to win Vegas. No, he was probably like 16%, like 1 in 5, 1 in 6, somewhere in there. Not 1 in 5, 1 in 6, 1 in 7, somewhere in there where you should be like plus 500, plus 600 in that neighborhood. So I can't bet him at 4.5, 4 to 1, 3.5 to 1, where he ended up after practice and qualifying. Even after seeing him practice and qualifying, I was not above 20% on him in my model, and I couldn't mentally get above 20% on him because there's William Byron, there's Denny Hamlin, there's Martin Truex Jr., there's Tyler Reddick, right? Like, there's Christopher Bell. There's all these guys that are really good, who looked good enough in practice, etc., plus these NASCAR races always play out way different than we think they will because random caution happens at random time and random strategy happens. So it's just going to be another one of those where, sorry, Larson's the best driver on the damn planet, especially at Homestead, but I'm not betting him at 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1, 2.5 to 1, whatever these absurd odds are out there. So if we're betting this week, we're trying to dodge another Larson bullet. And if you don't want to ride the train and take some middle, odds, longer odds bets with me, totally get it. But could be another losing week because Larson is the favorite, but he probably should be more like 5 to 1, and not plus 280.
Yeah, and you mentioned how difficult it is to win at this racetrack. We all know how good Martin Truex Jr. has been over the years, even back to his, Michael Waltrip racing days. He was very good at Homestead. He has 1 win in 18 starts here. Kyle Larson has 1 win in 9 starts here. And then William Byron does have a win here in 5 starts. But you mentioned, this opens the door, the possibilities of betting Byron in this race. Is plus 750 good enough for you to put a wager on Byron this week?
Maybe. It might be. We'll see. I think it's close. I think I just need to decide if I really want to go that route. I have some model value on there. The other route I could take in which shout outs again to Jim Sonis of FanDuel, Number Fire. He went with William Byron top 3 at 2 to 1, which I think is a really smart thing if you want to potentially fade the Kyle Larson issue and also Tyler Reddick. But of course, there's other guys, Truex, Hamlin, right? So I just need to evaluate where I want to be with some of these favorites, some of these upper tier drivers, and just figure it out. But I definitely think William Byron's in the conversation to win this race.
As always, I like to check the little obscure apps that I have. Byron plus 800 on Betfred and plus 230 for a top 3. So even a little bit better odds there on both of those that you mentioned. So yeah, I like that as well. I like betting Byron this week because he did win the pole here last year. Obviously, he only led 30-something laps, but I'm pretty sure he had some kind of issue because he was top 3 in both stages and ended up finishing 9th. I forget. Let me pull up iFantasy Race real quick for a quick reference on what happened to Byron last year. But I'm right there with you. I really like Byron this week, as I mentioned before, as well as Martin Truex Jr. I think those two are going to... I'm definitely not... I'm with you. I'm not betting Larson plus 280, even though I think he wins it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Just crazy
to
me.
You just can't. You can't. Remember how many times I just said? Remember how many times he's won this race? Once. And I understand a lot of those with the Ganassi and whatever, but at the same time, he led 100 laps or 150 laps in these races and still didn't win. He finished 2nd. He finished 3rd. He finished 5th. He finished whatever. It's just, this is NASCAR. You're not going to win every time you're the favorite, or even a third of the time when you're the favorite.
Yeah. What do you think about as I said, I like Tyler Reddick this week as well, in addition to Martin Truex Jr. But Reddick, best you can get him at is plus 600. I don't know about you, but to me, I'm not betting that. I don't trust Reddick enough to bet that.
Yeah,
without seeing practice and qualifying.
Yeah. I'm not that high on Reddick. Like, I'm high on him, but I'm not that high on him. You know what I mean? It's again,
which is
it's
surprising
just a spot
because
where he's good at this track type, but I don't think he's like world beater at this track type. Guess how many wins he has at Darlington and Homestead? 0. None.
Yeah.
Never. Obviously, in Xfinity, he's won twice at Homestead in 3 starts or whatever. But no, the guy is not. He doesn't deserve to be second or third shortest odds. I mean, he does, but not this short, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's just we're at that point of the season where books are already taking 30% hold ballpark, 25 to 35% depending on the book. So they're already making money, and now they're juicing down the favorites while making the super long guys super long because they deserve to be super long. So it's not like earlier in the year where if Homestead was maybe the 3rd race of the year, we're probably getting Kyle Larson at 5-1, not plus 280. We're probably getting Reddick at 8-1, 9 to something like that. So we're just getting the point where we have so much more information that they know who to juice down because it's gonna be those guys that win almost surely, right? So it just becomes really hard to be profitable on outrights at a track like this. So that's where you got to look at these different markets, top 10s, top 3, podium, whatever, head-to-heads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Ryan from My Fantasy Race says that Auto Club is the most similar track to Homestead. Do you agree with that?
Auto Club's the most similar to Homestead? I don't think so. At least as far as what I've used in my data, it's Homestead. Homestead's most similar to Homestead. Darlington. I will say there's definitely some discrepancy between Homestead and Darlington. There's definitely some discrepancy between Auto Club and Homestead. But, just use all 3. But I also don't want to use the second race of the year to evaluate the 34th race of the year.
Yeah, especially if I remember right, it was really cold at Auto Club this year. Plus, they had those restart issues. So yeah, definitely don't overvalue Auto Club, I guess, is the best way. But not to play devil's advocate, but just to bring up, since there is a similarity there, Kyle Busch was the class of the field at Homestead earlier this year. He's sitting there at 20-1 this week. He was the class of the field at Auto Club. I think I might have misspoke there. He's sitting at 20-1 this week for Homestead. Coming off a top 3 finish last week, or top 4. 2-time winner at Homestead. Is Kyle Busch worth a shot at 20-1? Speaking of long shots.
No.
Nope.
No, I don't think so. I'd rather have Chris Buescher at 20-1.
Okay. Another reason I think I like Kyle Busch this week. I don't like betting on him outright to win. Austin Dillon finished 4th here in an RCR car last year.
Okay, so you're cramping my style now because I was ready to talk about Austin Dillon. I'm giving him out on Running Hot. I'm just gonna say it right now because this will probably drop around the time Running Hot drops, a little before, a little after. But has nothing to do with Austin Dillon finishing 4th last year. It's like, dude, Austin Dillon's just good here, and Kyle Busch is good here. But I think when push comes to shove, we're gonna see one of these playoff drivers win this race.
Austin Dillon is really good here, and I hate to give the guy credit. He's
finished 12th or better in each of the last 8 here.
Yeah, outside of his very first ever start here, he's finished 12th or better every single race.
He had a 14th in his second start, but
oh yeah, you're right. So sorry, I missed that.
He said, but yeah, you're right. Outside of that, he had a 25th place finish in his first start, 14th in his second start. Everything else since that has been 12th or better. And he's 6-1 for a top 10 finish. So that I already bet that. Just saving it for Running Hot.
Nice. Yeah. You can't argue with it. It's kind of like what other track is he really good at? Richmond?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Richmond. But yeah, better career average finish here than Brad Keselowski, better career average finish here than Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. I mean, Austin Dillon's good here. He almost has the same average finish as Kyle Larson, and now obviously he doesn't have like the dominating speed, but his driver rating over the last four races here is between 86 and 93 every single race. So yeah, I like that. I like that Austin Dillon. Now, do you think he can win? Obviously, you like him for a top 10, but
No. He can't win. Austin Dillon to win? No. Top 10. Just top 10. Can he podium or top 5? Sure. If you want to take those bets, I think so. He's going to win now. If he wins, I mean, that'd be great. I don't mind that if you got 250 to 1 out there or whatever it is on him. I don't hate that at all, but I'd rather just take the top 10, the top 5, and if he wins, you still got his top 10, his top 5, right?
Right. Yeah. Any other long shots you like, in that range, as far as, obviously we talked about John Hunter Nemechek. He's sitting at 5 to 1. That's not good enough for me. AJ Allmendinger had a top 3 finish here last year. He's at 5 to 1 for a top 10. I want to say that his track record here is actually pretty good too.
I still would rather have Dillon than Dinger. Dillon at 6 versus Dinger at 5, yeah.
I agree 100%. What about someone like Michael McDowell sitting there at 10 to 1 for a top 10? We saw, I think, last year, the year before, he had a really good run.
Why haven't you mentioned your favorite driver yet? You love this guy. You're super high on him. Harrison Burton, 20 to 1.
Oh.
Top 10 finish. You can't stay in Harrison Burton, but this is his track type. This is Harrison Burton's track type. His average finish at Homestead/Darlington in his non-DNF races and Cup, which is only 1, so his other 4 races, average finish is 15.3. That includes a 6th earlier this year at Darlington. He won at Homestead in the Xfinity Series. He won at Auto Club, if you want to count that as the most similar track or whatever, in the Xfinity Series. Finished 15th earlier this year at Auto Club in the Cup Series. So if you include Auto Club in the non-DNF finishes, it improves from 15.3 to 15.2. He's good at this track type, this tire wear style. Harrison Burton, 20 to 1 for a top 10? Yeah. Why not?
I like when we give the long shot top 10s on this show. I'm going to end up making more bets this week again. After getting my ass handed to me on Bubba last weekend, I'm going to be going back here and trying to get there. Yeah, Harrison Burton's in there 20 to 1, looks like on Caesars. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I took Harrison Burton 20 to 1, top 10 finish. The only reason I haven't tracked any of these is because I'm hoping some of them survive through running hot, and I'm less concerned about, tracking these and looking good on the app versus, just trying to give out good content. So if I track it and then it moves before I even get to record running hot, then all of a sudden I have to pick out 4 more bets for running hot. That are maybe even worse in terms of things I would bet, right? So it's one of those, especially late in the year with NFL going on, especially as well. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to just sit here and track everything as soon as I bet them, that kind of stuff, because I know I've already bet them, but I don't need to prove it in the app to the whole world. I just want to make sure people, when they have the ability to listen to it. Plus, when I track something, very often with NASCAR, especially earlier in the year when there isn't as much going on, lines would move instantly. So I've found I may not be as good, and even just in regular bets, like there's a lot of bets I can't track in the app. We've done a ton of these here on Stacking Dennys where it's like no driver to win 2+ stages, no, or whatever for Daytona, or grid position of winner, or, all these other bets that we've just absolutely destroyed this year. I can't track those in the app because they're bets you literally cannot track in the app. So It's one of those things where I'm less concerned about my action app performance in NASCAR than just trying to make sure, A, I put out good content, but B, people can still follow them. And when I give it out on a podcast like this, people are able to bet it when they hear it, but 1 or 2 bets at a time isn't going to move the line versus 50 at once or whatever.
Yeah. What do we think about a guy like Michael McDowell, though? Getting back to that. 16th or better last 3 races at Homestead. 16th here last year.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's just, for me, I would rather take Harrison Burton at 20 than Michael McDowell at whatever he is. At 10's not bad. I don't know. I might rather have Michael McDowell at 10. I wasn't planning on talking to Michael McDowell, so I didn't prepare anything on him. But I am, okay, yeah, I've pulled up my model. I'm showing value on him at 10-1 for a top 10 finish, which is frustrating because it's one of those races where a guy like Kyle Larson absorbs a lot of top 10 percentage, but at this type of a racetrack, or at this specific racetrack with these specific odds, he's not absorbing minus 800 at Caesars, minus 650 at FanDuel even. Like, he's not that much favored to finish in the top 10. So
give me the
when you're betting, I know, right? So when you're betting these guys like McDowell, like Harrison Burton, like Austin Dillon, you're kind of banking on 1 or 2 of these guys at ridiculously juiced odds to have an issue, so that it opens up a lot of probability to finish in the top 10. So it's just tough where, like, I can't bet everybody to finish in the top 10. I can't bet Alex Bowman at 2-1 to finish in the top 10. I can't, which I like. I can't bet Michael McDowell at 10-1, which I like now that I look at it. But I can't bet Austin Dillon at 6-1, which I like. I mean, I am betting is what I'm saying. It's like I have to pick and choose which top 10s I bet. And so it just comes down to which are my favorites versus maybe other people's favorites. And then, you know me, I tend to like long shot bets because I don't think things, tail probabilities are accounted for as much as they happen in reality. So I tend to always gravitate towards longer shot bets in certain markets. So stuff. I can't bet every single top 10 out there that I'm showing value on because it's one of those things where, yeah, but if Larson and Reddick finish top 10, then all the value is sucked out of it suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah. And the more top 10 bets you have, the less chance you have of hitting them. Like, that's just math.
That's another deal too. So you can't bet them all. You have to bet the ones you think are the best.
Right. Going back to what? Oh shit! I just lost my train of thought. I'm super tired. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I'm fucking exhausted. Homestead. Oh, speaking of, you said Larson was what, minus 800 for a top 10 this week or something stupid. Shout out to Clint Boyer for giving Larson minus 500 top 10 as his pick at Las Vegas.
What the fuck?
The official pick for FanDuel by Clint Boyer was Kyle Larson minus 500 for a top 10. The fact that FanDuel just posted that and went with it is insane. I cannot put into words how fucking stupid that is. Oh my God.
Everybody go tail this pick at minus 500. And even if it's a good bet, like, which, I don't necessarily think it was. Holy hell. I'm pulling up my Las Vegas because I wasn't prepared to mention this. I'm pulling up my Las Vegas odds on Kyle Larson. Yeah, I have him like 72% to finish in the top 10, but at minus 500, right? That's like you would need around around 15%, something like that. So 1 divided by 6. Yeah, 16.7% of the time to not, which if you do 1 minus that, it should be 83.3. Yeah, 83.3. and I had 72%. So I'm showing 10% below value on minus 500 for Larson to finish in the top 10. Like, what kind of bet is that? First of all, you're giving out a terrible value bet. Second of all, you're not going out on a limb at all. You're picking like the safest bet on the board. And then third of all, anybody wants to tell you has to put up $500 to win $100.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to that. I've done it myself. I've bet several years ago, I bet Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. I bet Mayweather minus 350 to not lose or to not get knocked down. I didn't bet him not lose because I actually decided to go with he's not going to get knocked down because I had slightly better odds on that. And I bet $7,000 on it to win $2,000. So, I'm not opposed to those kinds of bets. It's just if you're the casual person at home, you're really betting $50 to win 10.
It's on on a track type that we have seen and that we saw in the race have tire issues. Like, this isn't the way to
and
grow
Hendrick
the
Motorsports
sport.
had tire issues themselves in practice.
Yeah, exactly. Larson did too. Like, Larson had a hole in his tire during practice. Sorry, I got a little. If you're watching YouTube, you noticed like I sat and stared off in the distance for a second. NASCAR expert picks on Action Network. This has to be a typo. Micah Roberts, 50 units on Keselowski over Chase Elliott.
Refresh the page. That's all I have to say. Is refresh the page.
Yeah, this is open there. Yeah, it's not on there. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I was actually typing about that to people I work with to get that fixed because I saw that too. So, yeah. So I said refresh the page.
I don't even know if I like fully like that bet, let alone enough to put 50 units on it. I mean, oh man. Anyway, any other? So you said playoff driver. You think definitely wins this race, correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't say definitely, but you know what I mean. Like, I heavily favor a playoff driver to win this race.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Busch might be tested for next year. Who knows, right? Like, which doesn't lower his chances of winning. It just makes him more volatile. But more than likely, I would say it lowers your chances unless you've really hit on something like RFK did last year. But that's why I like Buescher so much. RFK fucking hit on something last year in that Homestead test. And then they crushed it at Homestead. Chris Buescher here has been last year at Homestead. Obviously, Keselowski was amazing and Buescher was good. 2 years ago, Buescher, remember it was like the whatever race of the season.
Before it got dark,
he led a whole shit ton of laps. Yeah, and that was back when RFK was not very good, and that wasn't even when K was in there. It was just Roush Fenway racing. So it was before the K part of RFK, and they're just getting better and better. That's why I like Buescher 20-1, 25-1. I got him at Circa, which I did track because most places don't have Circa, so I felt fine tracking that one because there would still be a bunch of 20s out there for people to listen to. But I do like Buescher this weekend. I like Keselowski this weekend. I like Kes at 20-1. I just think push comes to shove if he and his teammate are in that same spot. Keselowski's going to play owner, right? He's not going to let himself win if his driver can lock himself into the championship race. There's 0% chance if Keselowski and Buescher are running 1-2 with Keselowski ahead that Keselowski takes that win. 0% chance.
I'm sorry. I just noticed something, and I have to put this bet in immediately. If you could talk about something. We just talked about Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon top 10.
Mm-hmm. I'm here to talk about whatever you need.
Guess what bet Fred has it at?
Oh, no. Because DraftKings has 6-1, which is the longest I saw, and I don't do the bet Fred thing because I don't have access to it. Well, so I have to guess now.
1.
11?
11 to 1.
11. 11. I might need a little runner action here.
Oh man.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
what the
you know
fuck?
how I am with these obscure books.
What do they have him outright?
Let me check.
Like, he's 6-1 at DraftKings, and outright he's 250 to 1. So if he's 11 to 1, what is he outright?
Just a second here.
Not that it'll absolutely correlate or whatever, but hair in my mouth. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm like picking at my mouth because the hair in my mouth. Ugh.
They're referring my bet to try to get this in. So
the 11 to 1.
Yeah.
Damn it. They better refer it to winning everything.
I will note if this is still available when this episode drops and people try to bet it, that like my good luck sports book is Tipico. My winning percentage on Tipico on any bets that I place on there is stupid high. My bad luck book is Betfred.
Yeah. That's fair.
So if you're tailing Austin Dillon, yeah, they did not take shit. Oh, wow. You motherfuckers.
What?
They didn't take any action on 11 to 1. They moved it to 550.
Holy shit, dude.
They literally did not take a bet. Like, I tried to put.
Did you try to bet too much and then they got alarmed?
I only put $100. I only tried to put $100.
That's ridiculous.
But they wouldn't let me get a cent down on 1100.
Then why are you posting? Why are you even booking anything? If you're not going to take that. If you're going to put that there and then not take anything.
This is about to be a part 2
lines.
whine about it. This is about to be a part 2 whine about
Literally
it.
is. I was pouring wine as you were doing that, so that's fair enough. It wasn't Luvabella wine, but it's definitely part 2 wine. In my wonderful Tecate glass, I now have wine. But yeah,
I can't believe that.
That's messed up. That's straight up messed up.
Oh my god. Outright, they have him 150 to 1. To answer your question before.
What do they have Harrison Burton? What do they have Michael McDowell? What do they have? All these other guys
on top 10s.
Yeah, I know.
Top 10s. They have McDowell at 12. They have Harrison Burton at 25.
Well, which are both better than the longest anywhere else. Burton was 20 at Caesars instead of 25. McDowell is 10 at DraftKings instead of 12.
I'm so irritated about this Austin Dillon thing.
Okay, I have lots of questions now. What do they have Alex Bowman at?
Plus 180.
Okay, so Bowman's 200 elsewhere. I think he was at FanDuel. He still is at DraftKings. What do they have Keselowski top 10?
Minus 140.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's better lines out there. This is interesting. Yep. So here's the short ones they're really juicing down, and the long ones they're not. Because I also liked. What about Harvick?
Plus 105.
Okay, because Bet365 has plus 140. There's a lot of guys I'm showing value on at various books, but you have to go across a bunch of different books. So it sounds like what's happening is Betfred is juicing down compared to other books the favorites and lengthening the longer shot top 10s is what it sounds like.
So what do you think about AJ Allmendinger?
I think he's honestly pretty good at this track type. This team is so inconsistent, colleague.
Mm-hmm.
So inconsistent. Haley, Allmendinger, doesn't matter who. They're both incredibly inconsistent. But if we do want to talk about consistency, he did finish 13th at Darlington a couple weeks ago. In addition to that third place at Homestead last year. he didn't run either of the Darlington races last year, and he ran the first Darlington race this year and finished 23rd. He's been good at Homestead here in the past with JTG, for example. He finished 20th, 8th, 14th, and 19th, so no finishes outside the top 20, other than a 40th place finish in 2014, which is, of course, a DNF, and I'm not going to count 2013 when he was in a Toyota. So, don't mind it, but it all depends on the price.
Just locked it in at plus 1,100.
All right, I like that. I like that. I definitely like that.
Yeah, they didn't move that one.
Definitely like that. Yeah, the longest elsewhere is 5-1 at FanDuel and DraftKings.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. As you were
I
talking,
just have to
I was
move
looking at
just
that
to
as
move
well.
to a Betfred. I might have to move to Betfred State.
Here's the thing, though. Like, they haven't had great lines until now. And then, obviously, they just moved that Austin Dillon one like fucking assholes. I'm not going to let that go. I'm irritated.
That was bullshit. That is actual bullshit. If they'll take Allmendinger at 11 but not take Austin Dillon at 11 or 12, makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Typico's not having any value out here that I can check.
Yeah.
Hell, they have Allmendinger at 4.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. He's 4-5 everywhere else, so 11, definitely like that. And I know I just did the worst analysis possible ever in Allmendinger with just finishing positions, but I think over a large enough sample size, finishing position can tell you enough about a range of outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Allmendinger's range of outcomes definitely includes a top 10 finish here at Homestead. Way more than 1 out of every 12 times, which you would need to break even at 11-1.
Right. Okay, now that we've had that excitement, I love the on-air excitement of betting on Stacking Dennys. We have it quite often. I mean, my whine about next week's already going to be Betfred and that bullshit.
Yep.
I should have screen recorded when I was doing that.
Yeah, you should have.
See, okay, so now they let me get 25 down on. I only did 25 on Allmendinger at 11. Mm-hmm. They let me get 25 down, and now I try to do it again, and they're referring my bet. So let's see if they move this to plus 550.
Probably.
Or shorter.
That's what I'm saying. You should have done like just a sprinkle on Austin Dillon.
I thought 100 was a sprinkle.
Well, to most books it is, but not to a book like Betfred. To DraftKings, or to FanDuel, or to whoever, it's not gonna move the needle a ton unless you're like an actual registered sharp or something with them.
Right.
This is like dramatic waiting moments here on Stacking Dennys. We're nobody's sitting here talking.
Down to 4-1.
4-1. Okay.
They moved it.
You know what they're doing? They're literally just probably going on Action Network's Bet Center and saying, "What do the other books have? We'll move it to there."
You know what would be fun? I need to watch and see if they move these lines back tomorrow, though. Whether this is just an automated thing, and then it'll go back after they're like, okay.
I don't think it's necessarily automated because they're taking the time to review it, and they're moving to the exact lines that the other books are at. So they're figuring out somehow, some way. They're probably just literally they probably have an intern back there. BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings. I created a clip on Riverside. Or maybe it's you. But there's probably got an intern down there pounding away at like what other lines are there out there and moving it to the exact same prices that everyone else has. Shocker. So it's not being a smart bookmaker at all there. I will say that. So yeah. They're definitely not setting their... Well, they did set their own lines, and they realized they fucked up, and now they're like, probably just got to go where everybody else is.
Well, what's funny is Allmendinger, 4 is the shortest of everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're fucking done with that.
God. Okay. Well, I got some action on it at 11.
You didn't bet Harrison Burton 25-1?
Let me try to get that now.
All right. So this is Stacking Dennys. We are presented by Aluvabella Wines. Jordan right now is trying to get some money down on Harrison Burton at 25-1 at Betfred. So, no, that's funny. I'm going to kind of fill in a little bit of time here, though, without distracting Jordan from his task at hand of getting Jordan ready to think about our 4-race win streak. And not necessarily pick a winner, but just think about a winner. Because we got to manifest 5 in a row. How sick would that be if Stacking Dennys hit 5 in a row on the winners? And if we do, I'm going to have to just bet the winners that we pick for Martinsville and Homestead, regardless of their odds, maybe. Not actually, but maybe.
They let me get $9.50 down on Harrison Burton, 25-1.
Nice. That might be like your 3rd ever Harrison Burton bet, right?
Yeah, that didn't feel good. Didn't feel good making that bet, but
It doesn't feel good, but it still is good. Which
he's
I hate
100 to
saying.
100 for a top 5.
Finished 6th at Darlington. Shit, dude. I'm going to check all the other sites and see what his top 5 odds are. Yeah, that's the longest anywhere. Throw $1 on it. Throw $2 on it.
Yeah, no shit.
$2 on it. I'll give you $1.
No, it fucking moved. God.
They wouldn't take $2 on it?
No, they moved the top 10 and then it moved the top 5 too.
Oh, I see.
Damn it. Well, now
Wow.
nothing's showing up on NASCAR. Is it broken?
Jordan broke the book. You bankrupted him without even doing anything.
I can't bet anything. Everything's grayed out.
Oh no. They're pissed about the $120 of action they've taken.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Their
don't know, I'm
finance
making up a
department is
number.
in shambles. If longtime listeners will know that reference.
Yeah, they'll know the joke. IYKYK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't bet anything on Betfred right now. Everything is off
Oh my
for
god.
NASCAR. For NASCAR.
Jordan, your damn $120 of action just destroyed Betfred.
Oh my god.
This is okay. This is like one of the. This is. We've had a lot of good moments on Stacking Dennys this year. This is one of the better ones.
Man. Please, yeah, I'm gonna like set an alarm to check every 15 minutes when they open back up because like they even have like I'm looking at Top Chevy, Austin Dillon, AJ Allmendinger sitting there at 100-1. I kind of just want to. I kind of like that. Man. Yeah, everything off the fucking board. God.
Jeez.
Anyway, we got to make our picks. Man. Well, thanks, Betfred, for kind of giving me some action tonight. All right. Let's get to
all
these
I have
picks.
to say before we make our picks, I smell some food, so we're gonna be making these picks. I'm gonna go devour some food. It's only 8:40 my time, right? So
Yeah. Okay, last week you had Larson. He obviously won. You had Allmendinger at the Charlotte Roval. He won. Before that, I had Blaney at Talladega. He won. Before that, I had Byron at Texas, and he won. 4 straight races that we picked the winner. Who do you think should go first? Let's do a coin flip on who should go first here. You call it in the air, okay?
I'll call it in the air. Heads.
Oh, shit. I dropped it. I need to redo it.
Redo. Tails.
It's tails.
So I get to choose first or second?
You get to choose first. Also,
I don't get to choose second.
well, you can if you want. You
I
pick
choose
who
second.
goes first.
I choose second.
Okay.
I'm letting you have it. I want to hear what you have to say.
I wasn't ready for this.
I wasn't either. That's why I chose second.
Oh man. Okay. Because I kind of want to go Reddick, but I don't. I kind of want to go Truex. I've been talking about Truex a lot. Reddick's just been in my mind since the beginning of the start of these playoffs. I've said in my head, Reddick's going to win Homestead. Just like this weird gut feeling I've had. And with how often my gut feelings are always wrong, I'm going Kyle Larson.
I'm going William Byron.
I like it.
Just lock down Hendrick Motorsports there.
Yep.
I don't know. I agree with you. Like, Reddick's close, but I still feel like he's in that Larson phase of like year 3, year 4, year 5, where it's close but not quite. Buescher is fun. I did consider him. He's fun, but I don't think he gets it done. Hamlin, Truex, and Bell are all good here. They're all good here. Any of those could win, maybe except Christopher Bell because he's dead to me. Which means he'll probably win. It's probably Christopher Bell's probably gonna win this damn race now, isn't he?
Wouldn't that be funny?
He probably will. Fuck. He probably will. I don't know. I don't have a bad feeling about Truex. Like I said, everybody's down on Truex for his recent performance. I'm fine with him. Same as I'm fine with Denny Hamlin. I'm pretty high on him, but just think Hendrick has that little extra step here. William Byron's been so good at both Darlington and Homestead that if it's not Larson, I think it's going to be him. And I think if it comes down to the two of them and you're Kyle Larson, you kind of just have to give up your spot, right?
I would think so, but I guess we'll find out if it comes up,
Yeah, guess we'll find out.
Oh, man. And we'll find out if Stacking Dennys can get their 5th win in a row. But on that, good luck to everybody this weekend. If Betfred opens those lines again, make sure you nail them. They are.
Tell them Stacking Dennys sent you.
Yeah. Man, and to stop being pussies. If you're going to put a line out, fucking take action on it.
No shit, dude. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Like, I don't care if you move the line. Take the action, then move the line. You're afraid of losing $1,200?
Yeah. Moving the Austin Dillon line and not taking a single cent of action on the 11 is insane. But
$1,100? You're afraid of losing $1,100? That you won't just take the action and then move the line to plus 500 or whatever it was?
yeah.
Horseshit.
Agreed. But we should see a good race this weekend at Homestead. Go Hendrick Motorsports. We'll talk to you next week when we break down.
By the way, when this episode releases, when you all hear it, unless Jordan instantly releases this, happy 25th birthday, Kyle Kirkwood.
When's his birthday? Is his birthday tomorrow?
October 19th.
Nice. So 15 minutes my time.
Yeah, 15 minutes your time. So we had, October's my month, right? So my girlfriend had her 35th birthday on October 4th. October 14th is my brother's birthday, the one that passed away. October 19th is Kyle Kirkwood's birthday. And October 25th is my brother who passed away's anniversary of passing away. October 28th is my 40th birthday. So Martinsville weekend. I'll be 40. And then it's, of course, Halloween. So, yeah, October's
Quite the month.
pretty heavily filled. I mean, there's other ones, too. I mean, I'm just going over, like, the top tier of stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that happens in October. So, my buddy, PJ Walsh, Action Network employee, NASCAR expert as well, has been out here in Vegas this past week celebrating his wife's 40th birthday, which was back 2 months ago. But, celebrating it now because that's the best opportunity for them to celebrate it. And so hung out with him this week. So a lot of stuff going on this time of year, and I'm excited. But we'll have to figure out, like, once Phoenix ends and the season's over, we might have to do like a Stacking Dennys off-season cameo, because I don't know if I can wait this long to keep doing Stacking Dennys until the week before Daytona or 2 weeks or before the Clash or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is too fun.
It's nice having a break, but it's also
we'll definitely take a break.
Too long. Yeah.
We'll definitely take a break. There's no doubt about that. But
yeah,
and it's funny because we run 8.5, 9 months out of the year. But then the 3.5 months feels too long.
Yeah. It's weird. But that's how the NASCAR season is. We should be used to it by now. We've been in this game long enough.
Oh, yeah. And then I'll go win the Millionaire Maker in February for the Daytona 500.
Hell yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That'd be a hell of a start to the year. So
it almost happened 2 years ago. Well, not this past Daytona 500, the year before. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that Sean Traylor guy won, and had to pay $500,000 in taxes or something like that. Sucks for him.
Yeah, not even worth it. He shouldn't have even won.
I know, right? Imagine, why would you even do that? No, shout out to Sean. Shout out to Chris, who Sean tails Chris Pinella a lot in terms of DFS betting, etc. But he listens to us too. We're all good friends in the DFS industry and betting industry. So just love to always give good shout outs to good people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So thanks to everybody that listened to this episode. We'll be back next week talking about Martinsville. But first, Homestead. So see you guys. The Forever 400 tribute to Kevin Harvick. Bringing back that Budweiser scheme.
That's right.
Pretty fitting.
That's why
you were drinking. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I was drinking one more for the road Budweiser.
Hey, maybe Kevin Harvick's going to win this race.
I just sliced my thumb open on that one.
Ooh. All right.
Honestly, no, Kevin Harvick's pretty damn good here. Don't sleep on Kevin Harvick this weekend. That's Greg Mathern wrote up Harvick plus 140 at Bet365. I'm all over that. That's one of my bets that I'm giving out on Running Hot, and it's not because Greg wrote it up. I'm just shouting him out because I like to shout at good people.
Mm-hmm. All right. See you guys.